So far, I have explained every bit about the program. Now, I think you got the complete clarity about the program. That means how many are input data item, how many are output data item, in which format we have to print output, etc. and all that. 100% clarity is over. That means your mental work is over. Your design part is over. Now, next step is implementation. In the implementation, first to start with a comment. Thereafter, entire program, regardless of its size, we divide into three sections: input section, process section, and output section. In the input section, how many input data we have to enter, how many data items we have to read, reading and writing. Read from the keyboard. You see that those are 13 because 13 input variables are there. Now, here one professional technique I tell you. By that, your code burden with 30% of the effort, whatever code with a 30% of time, entire code you can write very easily. Those techniques also you can learn. Here, for that purpose, grouping is required. Here, first you see that, observe that, first name, okay, that is independent, that is a string. Second one is class. Class actually integer, but only thing is on class we don't perform any operations. That's why let us take it as string. Thereafter, and one more thing, don't write class. Class, this is a keyword. Later I explain to you. These words should not be used as the identifiers. So you write class. Suppose int, already we are using. Int represents integer function, etc. Integer data type. So somewhere you want to declare it as for interest that you should not do. Okay, here one new point, instead of writing class you write class, class. Thereafter, roll number. Whenever multiple words are there, now this roll number with underscore, not dash. That point you have to understand. Okay, actually class number and roll number are integers. We need not convert because we don't perform any operations on class number and roll number. Display, already gave an example. You want to demonstrate the number of chocolates with you, then for that wrapper need not be removed. So class number, roll number, you treat like a string and display them. Thereafter you see that subject one name, subject one marks. Grouping is very important. By grouping you get lot of benefit. You can save 30 to 40% more than that time you can save in coding, in typing. Okay, here sub1 name, short name you can give, but people should, S1 means people may not understand. Sub1 name, sub1 marks. So sub1 name, that is string, we need not make any conversion. Sub1 marks, you see, now we are writing in input function in int. Just observe that within int function we are writing input function. That point already explained to you. Again and again if I explain, you feel boring. Here grouping, subject one name, subject one marks. Now what is the advantage of this? Now how many subjects are there? 5 subjects are there. For each subject the corresponding marks are there. Now what you do? First you type it properly. Type it properly and without any mistake. You check twice. Thereafter one line gap you give. Thereafter copy it. How many times you have to copy? You have to copy it 4 times. Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. 4 times you make. Then simple changes you have to make. What are the changes you make? In the second group, instead of where 1 is there you have to change 2. Actually, now 1 how many times are there? 4 times 1 is there. That you replace with 2. And subject 3, where 1 is there replace with 3. And next you see subject 4, where 1 is there, 4. You have to replace how many times? 4 times. Now 5 is 1 is there, 5. Then see that instead of typing 8 lines of code, just you are making copying and pasting. By that, without any mistake, and you can save time, and without any mistake you can complete your task. Understand? And one thing, first whatever source data is there, it should not contain any mistakes. You check it twice before copying and pasting. You check twice and thrice. So if any mistake is there, again in entire code you have to make the changes. So input section is over. Here one thing you must remember, which one marks actually are read as string. So we have to write it into function. Already I explained to you. Again and again same concept you have to explain. Most students may feel boring. If you don't have command that previous program you watch, fourth program, then you can have clarity. Okay, now input section is over. Thereafter, what is that? Process section. In process section, what is there? How many output variables are there? Two output variables are there. That data we don't enter. Actually, our program is to calculate that. What is that? Formula, I see that. Total marks, subject 1 marks plus subject 2 marks plus subject 3 marks plus subject 4 marks plus subject 5 marks. Then you write, and that means you are adding. Then you are getting total marks. All the marks percentages of 5 papers are summed up and stored in total marks. How can you calculate average marks? Average marks is equal to total marks by 5. That simple mathematical formula. You have to write it like this. That is processing section. 13 data items we enter through input section. 2 data items we calculated values by processing. So totally we got data for we filled all the 15 variables with the data. Thereafter what we have to do? Where is the data? It is in memory. Until unless it is displayed, nobody can see that. That's why in the output section we write them. And if you have perfect command or print function, while for writing print function properly, you should have practice. No intelligence. You should have perfect practice. Now you copy that, I don't mind, but you should be perfect over writing the output section. When you get command over the functionality of the print function, you can do that. Now let us write the output section. In order to write the output section, you should have clear knowledge about the output what you are expecting. In the first slide itself, in the beginning I showed to you. Just you write it on the paper. With a reference to that, you write every print statement. How big it is, just forget. Just every line. How many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines are there. So how many? It may be have 100 lines, don't worry. So every line you take, for that print statement you write. Just I think if you already I told you, if you write previous 4 programs on your own, it is not a big thing for you. You can do that. If you are lazy and all that, if you don't practice, and nobody can help you. Here you see that number of lines. Actually, one secret I tell you. In the first program, we have written simple biodata, only 3 items. In the third program, with the 10 items we have written. Right? The same way, actually big or small, forget. Whether you know the technique to write that you must consider. Now we see that all print statements, just write the output and keep it before you, and line wise you write. Line wise you write. Generally, whenever you are writing variables, generally you are confused. There, be careful, and you may forget simple things like comma, quotes, etc. and all that. Then, if I explain also, there is no use at all. Your practice is very much required. So, output section you write. Now, entire program, almost 50 lines program is ready. Then you run it and get the result. You definitely, I am telling you, being a beginner, definitely you may commit some errors. Don't worry about that. Whenever error comes, make a probe. So don't simply copy my code. My code is with you. Don't copy that. Why error is occurred? Where error is occurred, you find out and fix it. Thereafter, your brain learns. Your brain never commit the same mistake. One very important point, already I told you, errors are not enemies in programming. If you have integrity, errors are your friends or your teachers. By committing an error, you learn what you don't, what you should not do. By that, you never commit the same mistake. Okay, that point you have to understand. Then ultimately by executing this, you can get the output what we are expecting.